Good morning, all. Team MahaAP welcomes you all for the 7th episode of PATH, that is Pediatricians Action for Teenagers Healthcare. This is a great initiative led by Dr. Ramakant Patil, sir, President, Maharashtra IAP, and it's well supported by my mentor, Dr. Atul Kanikar, sir, who is an adolescent expert, who is known all over the world for his knowledge, deep knowledge in adolescents. So today we have Dr. Swati Ghate ma'am as a speaker, Dr. Reena Rathi, Dr. Chandrakant Surase sir also. So today we have two moderators, Dr. Amok Shane ma'am, who is a adolescent pediatrician in Navi Mumbai IIP. She is very active in Navi Mumbai activities, and her husband is Dr. Satish Sane sir, who is my dear friend and who is president of Navi Mumbai IIP. Then another moderator is Dr. Tripti Mahatme. She is editor of Maharashtra IIP. So without wasting time, I straight away ask Dr. Amok Shane ma'am to proceed in today's session. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Amol, sir. Hello and a warm welcome to all of you this Sunday morning. Morning greetings to all the esteemed dignitaries, my colleagues, and all the pediatrician colleagues who have joined us today on the Zoom platform for MahaIAP's PATH, that is Pediatricians Action for Teenagers Healthcare, in collaboration with Nasik AHA. Today's topics will be focused more on legal issues in adolescent practice and setting up adolescent-friendly health clinics at both government and private setup. I'm sure all of you are looking forward to today's fantastic session with our experts in this field. First of all, I would like to invite Dr. Harish Premde sir, who is from the Central AHA, to share a few words for today's program. Dr. Premde sir.
Thank you very much. This is a really surprise to me. I just joined as a listener to Dr. Swati Ghate and all of you, but it's a very good initiative by AHA Nashik, and I am sure under the very able guidance of Dr. Atul Kanikar, you are doing a wonderful job. I look forward to listen to the program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. As of now, we don't have the president of MahaIAP, Dr. Ramakant sir, with us, but when he will join, we will surely hear his words. I would like to invite Dr. Atul Kanikar to speak a few words, sir, because it is your program, you are the mentor, so we would definitely like to hear your ideas.
Thank you so much, madam. Welcome, Harish sir. It's good to see you, and soon you will be one of the chief speakers in our next sessions, maybe, and our local team will definitely coordinate with you. With the blessings of MahaIAP President Dr. Ramakant Patil sir and able leadership of Dr. Amol Pawar sir, we have started this program. I think this is the 5th or 6th program, and we have been inviting all the stalwarts whom I know personally in this particular monthly program. First Sunday of every month we are having this program, and people now all across the country are waiting for the first Sunday at 11 o'clock on Zoom line, because all the topics and all the speakers are par excellence. And today we have none other than Dr. Swati Ghate madam, the, I would say, enthusiastic, energetic, and very knowledgeable adolescent care pediatrician from the Pink City. And today she is going to enlighten us on a very sensitive yet very vital topic of legal issues in adolescent practice. The reason why people are actually drifting away, practicing pediatricians are drifting away. Now, with her enlightenment, we are going to be very much capable of handling almost all the cases in our private or government practice where we are stuck up because of legal issues. And I'm sure she will do justice to the topic. Our rest of the two speakers, Dr. Reena Rathi and Dr. Chandrakant Surase, are from my own city, Nasik. So they are my professional colleagues and very good friends. So they are going to talk about the adolescent setup in government as well as private practice. So with this, I welcome all the speakers and all the dignitaries on the screen, off the screen, to be in this particular Zoom program. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Nilesh Ahire, our MMC observer for today, who is the professor and HOD of pediatrics at GMR Nasik. Sir, please speak a few words. Dr. Nilesh Ahire, sir. I think sir is there, but maybe he's busy. Then we'll carry on with today's program. The first speaker for today is Dr. Swati Ghate ma'am, who is a pediatrician, adolescent health specialist and clinical psychologist and a joint director at Babylon's Newton Institute of Child and Adolescent Development, Jaipur. Madam is the faculty of many conferences and has got many research publications in her name. Today, Madam will be speaking about legal issues in adolescent practice. Ma'am, the screen is yours. We can hear your talk. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Let me share my screen first. Let us see if it works.
Ma'am, you're having issues,
Yes.
ma'am?
Yes, just a minute.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think I have sorted it out.
Okay.
Is it
Before
visible now?
Swati
Yes.
madam, before Swati madam says anything, I would like to request the organizers to give her little extra time because she may cover some other important issues like record keeping in office practice. So maybe she may exceed her time limit, but let us do that because it's a very important topic. Kindly
sir.
start, madam. Kindly start.
Can you see my slides?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
and
of
it's
course,
full
of
screen
course.
also.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. My sincere thanks to Maha IP and IHA Nasik. Special thanks to Atul Kanikar sir, who literally supported me in taking up this very tricky and difficult topic. Also, I am thankful to my AHA seniors and my regards to them who are all present here. Let me begin with this disclaimer that I am not a legal expert. Whatever I am going to present here is what is my perspective of what I have learned over years from our AHA seniors. And I must place on record my sincere thanks to Dr. Avinash Bansal sir, Dr. Deepak Gautam sir, Dr. Pemde sir, and my advocate friend Saili Khandekar, with whom I had an interaction in regard to this complicated topic. So when it comes to law, we say that law is not law if it violating the principle of eternal justice. And in case of adolescent patients, there is always a conflict between the legalities and what our medical knowledge says, what is the moral and ethically right thing for the adolescents, what are their rights, but the law is something very different. And we are all many a times in a fix. We will try to discuss together what are the medical legal aspects of this practice, and also some laws related to adolescents, because we need to empower them and let them know what are their rights, and also let them know the risks of the that their behavior might pose them in the eyes of the law. So there are many laws relating to adolescents, the POCSO being the most important, which we will discuss. MTP Act is also one of the very important acts that that is probably more relevant to our gynae colleagues. Juvenile Justice Act, which is for the care of children in need and also those who are in conflict with law. With the establishment of Juvenile Justice Board and district child protection committees, it is taking care of many children. But now they have started looking at 16 to 18 years slot in a different angle, and they are now culpable for heinous of crimes in the adult code. So Child Labor Prohibition Act is also important. These three acts, Narcotic Drug Act, Information Technology Act, and Motor Vehicle Act, these are the acts wherein our adolescents are getting entangled so many times because they do not know the laws. So we need to empower them regarding that. Right to Education Act, and like it is, we all know that between 6 and 14 years of age, it's government's duty to enroll each and every child into school, and that we have to ascertain as pediatrician wherever possible. Also, the children with special needs, they have the right to get properly adjusted and accommodated in the educational system and in all other social settings. These two acts are like, these are something which now a step which is for the betterment of the humanity and the adolescents as well. The consensual homosexual intercourse, which was a crime till a few years back, is now overruled by Supreme Court. And Mental Health Act in 2017 decriminalized suicide, which was earlier a crime in Indian law. So let us begin with case scenarios. With all these different laws and all these complexities of the adolescent health regarding not having enough training and not knowing how to go about, a pediatrician is always in a fix whether he can address the adolescents or not. So here's a case of Siddhi, who is 17 years and brought by parents with breathing difficulty, heaviness in chest, and palpitations since 1 hour. So should the pediatrician attend her? Many pediatricians would see a threat to their a threat in the form of legalities in this case. But let me tell you that it is not illegal to treat adolescents. So this is a very nice recommendation article which is in IP June 22, which has given guidelines for the practicing pediatricians, Indian Academy of Pediatrics consensus guidelines on adolescent friendly health services, which have clearly said that pediatricians can look and care for children up to 18 years of age. This is in sync with the definition of child as per UN Convention on Child Rights, to which India is a party, and various Indian laws currently which are in place. So there's no need at all to take up adolescent patients, but probably not by yourself all alone, especially for the indoor patients, major or serious illnesses, as we already are in a habit of involving our colleagues like gastroenterologist, endocrinologist, whosoever is needed. And so a team practice is always better. There is the distribution of the legal issues and the responsibilities onto a team, and it makes the practice much safer. And we are also giving justice to the needs of the patient. So we may also have to involve paramedics like psychologists or social workers, special educators. And so we have to build a team when we are focusing on adolescents in our practice. For government hospitals, there are laws which are different for different states, and then they have to abide those laws. So who is an adolescent specialist? In India, till now, only postgraduate diploma in adolescent pediatrics is the recognized qualification, which is given by Kerala University. There are certain certificate courses run by various colleges, and all our AHA stalwarts and members have a huge experience in dealing with adolescents. In the pipeline is the fellowship in adolescent pediatrics, the way we have fellowship in other super specialties of pediatrics. The Department of Pediatrics is going to be renamed as Department of Pediatric and Adolescent Medicine. And in near future, we would also see DM in adolescent medicine after MD pediatrics. But till then, we can definitely pediatricians say that we are adolescent practitioner and go ahead with adolescent caretaking. Who is an adolescent counselor? See, counseling is an art and science, and a degree holder in psychiatry and a registered, RCI registered Rehabilitation Council of India needs registration of all the psychologists to call them counselors. The doctors and paramedics who are trained in this adolescent counseling can work as counselor, but when it comes to psychotherapies like CBT, REBT, it is better to give that job to a qualified and a registered person. So we all know that pediatric patients are all under the shelter of their parents, whereas as they become adolescents, they sit on their head, and hence there are so many issues that are related with their confidentiality, their consent, their assent, and all those things. So Juhi is a 13-year-old who visited her pediatrician alone. Now she is a free bird. She has high fever and cough. So what all we can do? So here comes the issue of consent and assent. So consent is a legal affirmation. It is between two parties who look at the things with the same sense. Since our adolescents do not have developed that much of sense, we cannot expect them to give the consent, and the law doesn't permit them to do that. The doctor agrees for the treatment, and in turn, the patients or the parents, they agree to follow the advice given by the doctor. So this is invalid if it is misinterpreted, and hence a child cannot give a consent. Also, assent, which is affirmation to participate, is a mandatory part of consent. So we have to take the assent from the adolescent, whether he is willing to be a part of whatever is being done. And dissent is disagreement with advice. We have we are all in habit of writing that this was advised and parents refuse. So this is also very important. There are many types of consents. As we know, when implied consent is when the patient has walked into your office. Even if the adolescent has walked into your office, it is a consent for routine examination. But we have to have more expressed consent for anything like a rectal or vaginal examination, and for routine investigation, which could be oral, but for medical legal cases and for further investigations like LP and advanced radiological investigation, it has to be written. Informed consent is one where we have to tell all the aspects of the issue, like the diagnosis, the nature, the chances of success, and the prognosis, what are other modalities of treatment in a comprehensible and local language. Most of the cases that are, when the doctors are sued, the patients say that they were not informed it appropriately. So this is very, very important. But the voluntariness and capacity of the patient or the parent is also very important. Many times the parents say, Doctor Saab, aapko jo karna hai kar lo, hum to har cheez ke liye razi hai. So there is a catch. So what is that then? A therapeutic privilege is given to the treating doctor to give the reasonable information and not to frighten the parent or the whosoever is the patient. So this always comes in our hand when we when probably we may have entanglement with some issues. So more than 12 years, the consent for history and examination can be given. And we have to establish a therapeutic alliance. If a child is coming to your clinic for bronchial asthma and you are not involving him in decision making of taking an inhaler, he is not going to be compliant. Similarly, a child who has ADHD, he just refuses. I don't want to take the medicine. So you're no matter howsoever you do it, it is not going to help. So this therapeutic alliance in the form of an assent is very, very important. More than 18 years, there is absolutely no issue, but consent is not needed in medical emergencies and when the court or the law wants us to examine the child in for some legal issues. So under 12 years also, maybe we should take the consent or assent of the child. We are, or most of us are in habit. क्या हम आपको देख ले, आपका पेट देख ले, इस तरीके से we are almost like every one of us is doing that. 12 to 18 years, we have to take them into more confidence, give them a sort of a seat of importance. Then above 18, there are no hassles, but between 12 to 18 years, there are so many complicated issues. So Juhi can give history. She can be examined almost like we should never forget the chaperone, but she cannot give consent for prescription and investigations. What we will do here is to call her parents or send an online prescription to the parents so that they can get the medicines themselves and they can hand it over to her. It is not wise to hand over the prescription because it may be misused, or if in any case, if there is a reaction or something to the medicine, then probably we will land in soup. So this is another case of Anubha who stays in hostel. She comes with her boyfriend with fever and burning micturition. Thankfully, there are no menstrual complaints. She cannot obviously give consent, but says that her boyfriend is there and you can give me a prescription. Here we have to remember that we have to give all these things, prescription and all these things, they need dealing with a legal guardian. It could be parents, it could be warden as in her case, or a guardian appointed by court, or a loco parentis. A loco parentis is a guardian appointed for the time being. Like in a school, we can take consent from the teacher if there is an emergency. So this is very, very important. In West, there is a concept of emancipated or mature adolescents, and they are like, they judge what is the mental framework of the child, whether he is enough mature to understand what he is doing, and their laws are different. But strictly speaking, in Indian scenarios, this is not allowed. Here is another case of Sarvesh was brought by unknown persons for vehicular accident. He was driving a bike and he wounded his leg and was bleeding heavily. So in all of us have to remember that you have to start basic medical aid immediately without waiting for anything like consent or assent or any damn thing. Inform the parents, inform also the police, because this is going to be an MLC, and also rope in a surgeon, because probably this will not be under the pediatrician's care. So why we need to know? Because the graph of the road injuries in India is very alarming, and 50% of the patients could be revived if they are given golden hour treatment. For adolescents, as far as they are concerned, this is the top cause of mortality and morbidity, and hence we cannot escape neglecting this law. This law is a Good Samaritan law, which says that a Good Samaritan is a person who volunteers help in case of road injuries, and he has nothing to do with the patient. He is not the caretaker of the patient, neither he is going to pay for that, or he is just doing it out of good faith and humanitarian grounds. So if someone like that comes to us, we are not supposed to detain, ask for payment, or involve in any legalities. The law says that hospitals should not refuse to treat such cases, but there is no provision of punishment that is defined by the law. This falls under then the professional misconduct by the Indian Medical Council regulation, and we are liable to be sued in the law. Similarly, we have to empower our adolescents with the Motor Vehicle Act, which says that they cannot drive a motor vehicle unless they are 18, and this is very often and universally seen that children are driving scooties and all, but they cannot drive any vehicle which is more than 50 cc. Only a vehicle like probably a Luna of olden days and all, which is less than a 50 cc vehicle, or a battery driven vehicle, they can drive, and no transport vehicle till they are 20 years of age. And who is the culprit? The guardian is liable for the punishment, not the adolescent. So fine could be as high as 3 years of imprisonment, and the adolescent, he is barred from getting a license till 25 years. So we must ensure that all the adolescents are aware of this law, and they save themselves and their parents. So in any case of accidents, we know that medical legal formalities are very important. All the record keeping needs to be very meticulous. The general information, the identification marks, the description of wounds, and all these things are very important, because there are many litigations, insurance claims, and whatnot. When it comes to record keeping, the information is the legal right of the patient, and we are like, it is mandatory for us to provide information within 72 hours of any query that is coming from the police or the law. So we have to bear it in mind that we cannot just hide the records or keep them up to us, but we have to share the information as and when required. But how long to keep these records? Our offices are full of records, and let me tell you, there are no fixed guidelines, and everybody has a different say. Even among experts, there are no views which are very clear cut. So the Indian Medical Council says that it has to be 3 years. The income tax wants us to keep it for 7 years. PCPNDT says that for 2 years you have to keep all the records. Clinical Establishment Act, which is followed by some of the states, they have defined a period of 3 to 5 years. The Government of India guidelines, which are there in the DGHS book, they say that outpatient records have to be kept for 5 years, inpatient for 10 years, and medical legal records for 10 years or till the disposal of the ongoing cases. I think for most of us are following this, most of the hospitals are following these rules. Now that data is getting digitalized, so there is a lot of confusion. This Ayushman Bharat digital mission is coming in, and now I think the parliament has already got that like law for discussion. There is a lot of difference in opinion as to from the forever, like the digital data should be kept forever. That is what some of the parties are saying. And the personal data protection bill says that data should be never used for any other purpose, and it should be kept there only till it is necessary. So this Digital Information Security in Healthcare Act is also in place, and it is highly resistant to storing information online or through apps. So when it comes to our practice, it means that like we have to be very, very careful if we are like storing the data or doing any online consultations through some mediator agencies. Another important issue in the adolescent practice is confidentiality. Adolescents are secretive by nature. They want to be on their own, whereas exactly opposite are the parents. They are always anxious to know what is going on in the child's life, and they are many times poking and intrusive. The catch is that the parents have legitimate authority for adolescents' personal information, and adolescents have obligations to disclose it to parents. This is the myth that is being carried on all over the world by the adolescents and by the parents. So there is no legitimacy in like there is no legal binding for the adolescents. They have the right of privacy, and they are not supposed to or not enforced by the law to share all their secrets with their parents. So when we start the HEDSS examination or any counseling session, we have to declare the privacy policies very clearly. I am so and so, I deal with adolescent patients, and my privacy policy is that I will not disclose any of this information to anyone except in certain cases that I will let you know. So we have to ensure it, and we have to stick to it. And if sharing becomes necessary, you have to first take the adolescent into confidence, not behind his back. Anything we have to share. So she is a 16-year-old who was brought for poor school performance, which is the #1 cause of children coming to us. After giving her the confidentiality policy, when HEDSS was done, suicidal thoughts were noted. There were no plans, and then comes the question: how to safeguard her as well as how to safeguard the doctor himself. Because if she like commits suicide, then you are at loss. Like you would be like in trouble. So all these things we know how to do, how to deal with an adolescent who has suicidal thoughts. That we will definitely do, and make a no suicide pact in writing. This is very, very important for us to keep the proof, and refer her to a psychiatrist, and continue to be a supportive pediatrician even when she is given to a psychiatrist care. Suicidal attempt is no more a crime that we have seen. So when is the confidentiality needs to be broken? Any form of abuse, especially the sexual abuse, conflict with law, threat to life of self or others. If the adolescent says that I feel like killing someone, so also you have to disclose any form of hospitalization that is needed and notifiable diseases. Then when the confidentiality is not required, when we are giving forewarning or any anticipatory guidance, counseling on various issues, including the romantic relationships, sexuality concerns like having a gender dysphoria or having some homosexual or bisexual issues, if the child is experimenting with tobacco or alcohol and not an addict per se, so we need to, we can keep it to ourselves. First, what we have to do is to weigh between the risk of parental reaction and the self-harm that the child may cause to himself. Counseling the family is very, very important before sharing the issue. Straight away, we cannot say कि आपके तो बच्चे ने ये कर दिया. We have to have a parental session and ensure them that the things are not out of bounds, and then probably we can share it, because we have to ensure that parents continue to remain involved with a positive attitude in the adolescent, and they do not become a trouble in his path of recovery. Now this is case of 13-year-old Bhushan, who is brought for bleeding PR and painful defecation. On examination, he was apprehensive. There were perianal injuries, and the head SS revealed that his uncle was the culprit. We know that these cases are very, very, the reporting is very, very low, and most of the children, they are under pressure not to report, or they don't realize what to do. So all these things we have to do, like treating the wound, giving the psychosocial support, ensuring safety, taking him away from that parent, teaching him how to say no. But what remains important is family counseling. We have to empower them regarding the goodness of POCSO and make them take the benefit of this law, which is such a beautiful law for these children. Definitely, we have to inform this case. We cannot keep it to ourselves, or else we are liable to a great punishment. This is a mandatory reporting, and we have to either inform to the local police, or if there are special juvenile police units set up in your city, we could inform to them as well. District child welfare committees are set up in every district. We can also just inform them through a phone or an email would do. And if nothing is possible, we can always call the child helpline and tell them about the incident. So something about this POCSO, before this POCSO came into being, there were many discrepancies in the law, and many laws were there which were like against the rape or against the modesty, defamation, and all those things, but they were all addressing the females, and they were only taking into consideration the traditional vaginal intercourse. But this law has come up, and it is a gender neutral law. It applies to all under 18, including the males and the females, also the victim and the accused. If the accused is under 18, still he is liable under POCSO. So age of consent for sex is 18 in India. Sex below 18, even with consent, is a crime as of now. The POCSO differentiates between penetrative and non-penetrative insults. It also covers violation of modesty in many forms, including harassment, passing comments, even watching or looking with a sexual intent, any actions or exhibitionism, pornography. All these things are now taken care of under the POCSO. So it becomes a very strong act. No one can indulge into any sexually intended misbehavior in any form. The proceedings are extremely child friendly, with special courts who deal with these things, and only the trained lady officers are there to support. It prohibits re-victimization. That means why we have to inform it, because the child who is already undergone a sexual assault is liable to get re-victimized, and hence the police are involved as special caretakers. They are called special caretakers, and if they also do not take proper action or they assault the child, then it is called an aggravated assault, and they have the provision of death sentence. So it is very, very important that the children are taken into consideration and given a legal sort of a cover, and they are into the legal, they are looked after legally also. So this is done by child protection commissions, which are at the national and at the state level. These are monitoring bodies. Burden of proof is with the accused. So the child doesn't have to do anything, and the defense lawyer cannot ask questions directly. They will come only through the judge. The punishments are very, very severe. Minimum punishment is 3 years imprisonment, and maximum is up to death sentence, as we saw, if it is done by a teacher, a parent, or anyone under whose custody the child is supposed to remain safe. So mandatory reporting is by whosoever learns the crime, may it be a doctor, may it be a teacher, may it be a parent. And also there is a provision for punishment if it is a false complaint. Today's newspaper only we have a news that the child was made to launch a complaint. The mother launched a complaint because the person who had supposed to be the perpetrator, he had some clash with her father. So to take the revenge, they used it, and the child said that no, nothing was done to me by this person, and now the mother, and she is put under prison for 6 months. So this is there in today's newspaper, and it is very, very valid. So for us to remember, parental consent is not required when we have to report a POCSO. Of course, we have to do the emergency care of the child who is brought to us, and the medical examination has to be conducted according to the acts laid down and the rules laid down. We cannot ask for any legal requisition or any police paper to do the medical examination and give the child the benefit of medical aid. We have to protect the privacy with utmost sensitivity, and for a girl, it is only a woman practitioner who can do that in presence of a person who the child trusts. She has to attend to needs. We have to attend to all her needs, including the psychosocial. Collection of forensic material is also very important.
Everyone, please keep it on mute. Please mute your audios.
Can the host mute everyone?
I will be muting.
So collection of forensic material and record keeping. This is all very important, and there are many training modules which are going on all over the country. And all of us should attend these training modules and get acquainted with all these procedures, because any day we might come across such a case. Now there is a great dilemma about this 16 to 18 years. As I told you, this consensual sexual act is crime as of date, but now the Juvenile Justice Act has differentiated among the minors. They look at 16 to 18 years old as something like mature adolescents, and they could be subjected to prosecution in the adult courts. So there is a demand that maybe we could also look at the sexual consensual act with a different angle and not an illegal act. The mandatory reporting has also proved to be counterproductive, because patients and parents do not report, as it is a stigma, and that has led to so many illegal abortions and STIs. So press is taking note of it. Also, there are many high court decisions which are going in favor of making the 16 to 18 years consensual sexual act as lawful. But till date, there is no law that is in place, and we have to empower our adolescents in the light of the present law. So this is Manisha, who has come with her mother and wants contraceptive measures. She is a married adolescent. Only 10% of married adolescents are using contraception, and this is also a very big confusion what to do with such patients. Of course, we'll psychoeducate the mother. In Rajasthan, there are a lot many child marriages, but what they do is they get the child married, but they do not send the child to the in-laws place. So probably this is against the Child Marriage Act, but it will not fall into the POCSO. But if the child is being sent to the sasural and she is indulging into the sexual activity, this is a big question whether to report it or not. Child Marriage Act doesn't necessitate a mandatory reporting, but POCSO does. So what we have to do is just empower the adolescents and their parents on all these laws and the aftermaths. So teenage motherhood is also increasing, whereas RKSK is allowing contraception, distribution of knowledge, and also distribution of the contraception. But it has been observed that the healthcare providers' self-imposed restrictions in providing the contraceptive services is an important barrier. This is again when we are giving them the contraceptives, we are probably promoting an unlawful act. That what we can definitely do is to empower them regarding the pros and cons of sexual activity. Dr. Atul Kanikar sir is always full of ideas how to promote, how to teach the adolescents about the legal, societal acceptance. There's scholastic issues that arise out of the sexually active romantic relationships. Also their physical health, their risk of pregnancy and all those things. But let me tell you that barrier methods are over the counter available. Even the emergency contraceptive pills are OTC since 2005. We can, as of date, only give them knowledge, and probably we could leave them to take their own decisions after explaining everything. So MTP Act is also a very important act which gives all the women, married or unmarried, a right to abort their unwanted pregnancies. This basically falls into the obstetrician's domain. I don't think many pediatricians would be coming across these cases. And these MTPs, I just want to make one point clear that MTP pills, like whichever are like very readily available, they can also be given by only authorized obstetricians and at authorized centers, and it has a 3 years imprisonment and or fine as a punishment. So we cannot take risk of giving MTP pills to our pregnant adolescents. This Supreme Court has come up with a new verdict recently, which says that the minors who are coming for abortion, the medical practitioners are not required to disclose their identity, because then it stops them from taking the sexual and reproductive health services. So this is a very important decision, and probably for the first time Supreme Court is stepping in, which has the power to make the laws as well. So this will be taken ahead with a different angle now, but there is a caveat here. Section 42A of the Act of POXO states that anything which is going in conflict with the POXO will override. So this is just for us to ponder and think, and there's hardly anything that we can do as of now. We have to go by the existing laws. So another thing where our youth and adolescents are taken to the criminalities is the information technology. That they think that they are very smart enough and they will not be able to do any wrong and get caught. But there are very severe punishments, and this law, Information Technology Act 2000, it doesn't spell whether the person is above 18 or under 18. It treats all of them equally, and there could be an imprisonment or a fine, and for cyber terrorism there could be a life imprisonment. So when our adolescents, they are faking their identities, they are hacking, they are doing some illegal money transactions even through their parents, or they are doing many things, and we are only novice and they are very experts, but we have to empower them regarding all these things, that they could be caught in the clutches of law very easily. So these are the helplines that we can report directly to the government through emails, to the National Commission of Protection for Child Rights. There is a helpline number. The child helpline number is always there. We have to keep with us district child welfare committee numbers and local police station numbers. There are many NGOs which are helping to children and also to us to empower ourselves regarding how to report and what steps to take. Satyarthi Foundation, the Nobel laureate, we all know that he is working hard on this. This is a group regarding child abuse, neglect, and child labor, which is working. Many of our pediatricians are members of ICANCL, and they are empowering us with various modules. There is this toll-free government counseling number, which we can take, which we could share with the adolescents and their parents and get the relevant help. IIP Medico Legal chapter is in place, so they are our colleagues and they will also help us. So this is the cybercrime helpline, and this www.cybercrime.gov.in. We can report any cybercrime, and also with anonymity. This is the a very small, very easy thing for the children to do. They just have to click on this e-box, and this is given by this Commission for Protection of Child Rights, and they are guided through various steps, and they are empowered whether it was a sexual assault or not, whether it was an abuse or not. And this is a very child-friendly tool to inform and to empower. So coming to these 2-3 acts, this Narcotic Drug and Psychotropic Substance Act, it involves a lot of the substances which are routinely abused. The cannabis being the very important thing among this, because our adolescents have a feeling that cannabis is no harm and it is legal, and it is legal in Canada, and Indian laws are so foolish, and all those things they have. But we have to make them understand that if you are caught with that, it is a non-bailable crime. There are different categories. That there is if you are caught with a small or a lesser amount or a commercial amount, and the punishments do vary accordingly. But even possession of a small amount, there are some amounts given for all these drugs, and if they are caught with that amount, then they are liable to be jailed, and then there is no comeback. We saw what happened with the Shah Rukh Khan case. Coming to alcohol and tobacco, every state has different laws for that. In Maharashtra, selling alcohol below 25 years is illegal, and districts like Wardha and Gadchiroli, they have it is banned in those districts. And drunken driving is also a very big crime, and it also involves imprisonment. So, but there are no definitive punishments written in the law for those who are selling the alcohol to young people. So we see that the pub parties of all these school-going children are nicely going on. Selling tobacco below 18 years is you could land in 7 years of jail for that. E-cigarettes are banned. This also our adolescents should know, because the use of e-cigarettes is on a rise. So coming to take-home messages, adolescent practice by pediatrician is not unlawful, but we need a teamwork. Documentation is the most important safeguard. POCSO and many other laws are not very clear, but probably they are under consideration for being better. Empowering self and adolescents with relevant laws is very, very essential. These are my references, and I thank you all for your patient listening, with the word that it is better to be safe than sorry when it comes to legalities in any sort of medical practice. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Swati Khate, ma'am. That has been exhaustive, informative, and fantastic session, I must say. I would like to just tell all the delegates that they can ask their questions in the chat box, which will be taken at the end of the session. I would now like to introduce our next speaker for today, Dr. Chandrakant Survase, sir. He's a director at Chiranjeev Hospital, Nasik. He's a developmental pediatrician, DIIC, District Hospital, Nasik. And he's done his MD Pediatrics from SRJR Medical College, Ambazogai. So today, sir will be taking a topic on how to set up an adolescent-friendly clinic at the government level. Sir, I would like you to start with the talk. Dr. Chandrakant, sir.
मॅम सर होते पण आता दिसत नाहीयेत.
मी
होते.
पल्लवी मॅम मी फोन करतो लगेच.
हो सर.
In the meanwhile, if there are one or two questions which we can take for Dr. Swati Ghate ma'am.
Actually, I have put them in the chat box. If you can see. The first question, is Swati Ghate madam there?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay. So the first question was, in that road traffic accident or any case of say OP poisoning, the patient teenager walks into or is brought into the casualty. Can we take the photos and videos before we intervene as a record? That
Sir,
this
joining
was
in
the
a minute.
situation when we started
Okay,
the treatment without waiting for any treatment, without waiting for any consent.
There is no definitive direction about this, but I think taking photos and videos has been so very common that even if we are not taking, someone else would have taken already the photos and videos. Definitely we can use them for medical legal evidence.
That can be used. That this was the reason we didn't wait for consent.
Yes.
Even for the minor child, and we had to help the child in good faith. That is number one.
Yes.
Second question was regarding cyber harassment, which is rampant now. That in that case, what is the particular helpline number that you would like to share with us, so that if we see such a teenager being harassed by some so-called predator online, so which number the child or the parents can call?
See, there is no different number, but there is this 1098 can be approached, and there is this link which I had shared, which is the cybercrime link. Sorry, there is also a number which is given. Just a minute, I will.
1931, I think.
No. 1931 is for women, I think. It is not for cyber. But there was a number. I'll share it with you. Just a minute. I will share that
please
number
do
here.
that, so that
Yes.
we can preserve that number in case we sit. Because these children are they are rampant and they are coming to us for stress relief. So that will be very helpful, madam, if you can share that.
Yes. And I think going to the site and sharing the number, sharing the thing anonymously is also very, very easy.
That confidentiality is kept by them. So Survase sir is there. He can start with his talk.
सुरवसे सर जॉईन झाले आहेत. अमुक मॅम.
Yes, Dr. Chandrakant Survasi sir.
सर अनम्यूट करा तुम्हाला. सुरवसे सर अनम्यूट करा.
हॅलो, हा सर. ते त्यांचं नाव नाही ऍक्च्युली त्यांचं नाव घेतलं.
सुरवसे सर अनम्यूट करता तुम्हाला.
पल्लवी तुझ्या साईडने करून टाक.
नाही मॅडम, माझ्याकडनं नाही होणार, कारण मी त्यांना रिक्वेस्ट टाकते ऑलरेडी.
One minute. Like to introduce today's MMC observer, my big brother, Dr. Nilesh Aire sir. Sir is a professor and head of pediatrics at MPGI MER. It is a Maharashtra Postgraduate Institute in Nasik, and he is a senior practitioner in Nasik also. So, Nilesh sir, please bless with your thoughts. Yes.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Amol, for your warm introduction. The session, the topics are very well planned, and the talk given by Dr. Swati was excellent. It taught us many legal aspects of adolescent care. I hope next sessions will be in same line and will be more learner friendly, and will teach us many things. I wish all the best to next participants. I hope Dr. Survase sir is here and he will guide us in next session. Thank you, Dr. Amol.
Thank you, sir.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Suresh sir.
ऐकायला येतो का?
Yes, sir. Yes.
हा. But I'm not able to share my screen. Anyway, I will start without this one.
सर परमिशन
First of all, I want to express my thanks. Bar.
सुरुवात सर तिथे खाली एक बटन असतं शेअर स्क्रीन नावाचं ते दाबा.
हो हो दाबलेलं आहे. हा. डायरेक्ट स्क्रीन नाही दिसत.
तुमचं पीपीटी चालू करा आणि शेअर स्क्रीन दाबा.
ओके.
नाही तर ते ग्रुपला शेअर करा, पल्लवी मॅडम ते प्ले करते.
रीना राठी मॅडम.
सर सुरवसे सर परत एकदा आउट झालेत, बहुतेक नेटचा इश्यू आहे त्यांचा.
मग तुमचं चालू करून टाका. लेट्स नॉट वेस्ट टाइम कारण आता आपल्याला
मोबाईल वर जॉईन होत आहेत. पल्लवी मॅडम. हॅलो.
येस सर.
ते जॉईन झाल्यानंतर त्यांना रिक्वेस्ट करा की तुमचा व्हिडिओ ऑफ ठेवा म्हणा.
ओके सर.
आणि त्यांचं पीपीटी शेअर करता येत नसेल तर मग मी त्यांच्याकडनं मागून घेतो मीनवाईल फोन करून. आणि तुम्हाला
तोपर्यंत राठी मॅडमचं होऊ देत का सर?
अतुल सर सांगतील तसं.
तोवर राठी मॅडम, रीना राठी मॅडम तुम्ही तुमचं सुरू करा.
सर
थिंग्स बी सॉर्टेड आउट बाय सुरुवात सर. आणि चालू करा बिकॉज वी हॅव ओनली हाफ अवर लेफ्ट.
येस सर.
I'll start. Yeah.
Anybody would introduce Rina Rathi madam?
Yes, sir, I'm there. I'm there.
Yes, sir. Trupti is there. Yes.
Good. Good to see you.
Me too, sir. So hi everyone. Let's move on to the next lecture, third lecture. Will be given by a dynamic lady, pediatrician of Nasik, Dr. Rina Rathi. She's a child and youth physician. She's EQ trainer. She's also a very good chess player. She has many achievements. She has been EB member, Maharashtra State IIP Women's Wing 2022. She was Secretary IIP Nasik 2021. She is Secretary Adolescent Health Academy Nasik 2021 to 2023. She has won many awards. So now let's move on to her talk, Setting Up Adolescent Clinic in Private Sector. Over to you, Dr. Rina Rathi.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am. We can see the presentation. Yes, ma'am.
Just make it a slideshow, Rina.
Full screen. Is it full?
Is it possible?
Hello. Yes, I'm trying.
सुरवसे सर, तुमच्या याला थोडा प्रॉब्लेम होतोय ना, तर तुम्ही पल्लवी मॅडम बरोबर किंवा ग्रुपमध्ये तुमचं प्रेझेंटेशन शेअर करा. मीनवाईल आपण डॉक्टर रीना मॅडमचं चालू करतोय, सो दॅट मग तुमचं त्यांचं झालं की तुमचं पुढे स्मूथली आपल्याला शेअर करता येईल, अँड देन यू कॅन गो अहेड.
असं येतं की you cannot start screen share while the other participant is sharing.
नाही
सर ऐका ना. तुम्ही ना ग्रुपमध्ये टाका किंवा मला पर्सनलला टाका, मी पल्लवी मॅडमला टाकतो. पल्लवी मॅडम त्यांच्या एंडने शेअर करतील. आणि तुमचा व्हिडिओ ऑफ ठेवा, म्हणजे तुमचं नेटवर्क जरी वीक असलं तरी तुमचा आवाज येईल सर्वांना, तुम्ही दिसले नाही तरी चालेल.
Okay.
Rina ma'am, it's full screen now. You can start presentation.
Rina, please start.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Very good morning to dear friends and respected seniors. First of all, very happy Friendship Day. I would like to thank Maharashtra IIP, Dr. Ramakant Patil sir, Dr. Amol Pawar sir, Nasik AHA, Dr. Sucheta ma'am, and the brain behind this path, Dr. Atul Kanikar sir, for giving me the opportunity to present a very important and very sensitive topic that is very essential with concern to adolescent health. Even though they are 25 to 30% of the total population, it consists of the adolescents to deal with many problems facing by the adolescents. If we are going with the data, we got only 466 certified adolescent medicine specialists as compared to 239 certified geriatric medicine specialists. Such a huge difference to deal with the 30% of the population. And this is a not very back study, it is a recent 2027 study. National Research Council in 1999 said that 70% of adolescent morbidity and mortality due to unsafe sexual activity, violence, substance use, poor nutrition, inadequate physical activity, risk driving, and risk-taking behavior. So this is a National Research Council has stated that so many problems are facing by the adolescents. Still, we are having very less adolescent specialists, and that is the idea behind taking this talk to how to set up an adolescent clinic at our private setup. If you go with this diagram, the road injury is having the highest percentage for giving rise to the mortality in the adolescents. Even with the intention, it's a harmful intention for like suicide and self-harm. If you go according to by all age category, adolescents are more vulnerable and more prone, and it's a more dangerous age group, which needs a proper guidance and proper counselings that are private setup. To our adolescent clinic setup at our private existing clinic, slight modification and training of our staff. The male population between the age of 18 to 21 years, they are seeking help of the pediatrician 7%, family physician 29%, and adult physician 70%, but no data available for the adolescent physician. Similarly, for the female, 60% of female taking the health of adult physician and 50% of them are going to the gynecologist. Again, no data available for adolescent physician. So our person in this age group, that is 10 to 19 years of age, that is adolescents are able to obtain the health services very easily. That should be timing or their classes timing. So that's access. It should be acceptable. Adolescents are willing to and obtain the available services. It should be acceptable by the adolescents, though the setup is very good, but not acceptable by the adolescents, then it is very difficult to run that kind of setup. It should be appropriate. That means right health services in the right time should be offered to the adolescents in the right manner, according to their need. Our setup should have the effectiveness also. That is, right services are to be provided in a right way and make a positive contribution towards their health. This kind of setup, I'm proud to say this is my own setup. which is very much acceptable by the adolescents, having a good waiting area, good reception area, visible our trophies, our achievements should be there. There should be some recreation to our chance. So there should be some reading material available for them to read, and there should not be any kind of disease or it is a newborn clinic. It has to be appropriate for the adolescent age group. If you go the problems in the schools for which adolescent will like to take help, the major problem is pertaining to their studies, as mentioned by our Swati ma'am too. Poor study performances. Later on, there are the problems with the peers. So though this age group are dealing with a different kind of problems, problem with the facilities, problem with their peers, and then they are getting scolded, and they are definitely with the psychological problems and their friendship problems too. So these kind of problems are there very well can be dealt with the adolescent physician rather than the routine pediatrician or routine physician, which are taking very much training to deal with kind of problem pertaining to the adolescents. So the key point for this is the setup should have the privacy. It should have the confidentiality. It should have non-judgmental approach. Like if adolescent is coming, we should not be presumed that the adolescent is coming only for the study purpose or having some affair purpose. So it should not be non-judgmental. We should give respect to our adolescents too. We should listen them carefully. We should give them respect, not like it's okay, you are coming and going, not that kind of. We should have the active listening, and there are so many key points regarding the active listening, that we should have a good eye contact, we should have a stable body, and we should not attend our mobile or phone calls in between while listening to our adolescents. There should be non-verbal communications with our body posture, with our eyes. That has to be there. We should be empathic. We should feel how adolescents are feeling at their front, at their position. We should keep ourselves in their shoes and feel like how the adolescents are facing the problem. And definitely there is a major issue of the psychological history taking that we should not forget before ending our conversation with the adolescents, because we all know this 21st century is the century of mental health illnesses, and adolescents are not excused from it, and they are really suffering from the major mental health problems, and they are carried forward to their adulthood too. So to avoid conflicts in their adulthood, our responsibility, our duty to deal and to discuss. As I mentioned, confidentiality should be there, but there are certain exceptions to it, like abuse, harm to life, like suicidal issues, hospitalization, and definitely one more is that is a notifiable diseases. So in these cases, which we can break our confidentiality. Dealing with the adolescents, we can go with the health assessment. That is our routine care. We should go whenever opportunity to do that assessment, whenever we are getting the time and we're getting in touch with our adolescents. Definitely for counseling, we are having the gather approach. I'm not going in depth of that. So equipment, our hospital, our clinic, adolescent clinic should be having this particular equipment to deal with our adolescents, like adult size stethoscope. We should not have the pediatric stethoscope. Definitely adult size BP cuff should be there. To measure the height, we should have a stadiometer, not with the our main tape will be there, and the photometer, the list oxidometer. We should have with us a few charts, like to measure the height and charts for the boys and girls. And in these charts only we are getting the BMI calculation also. That is very important too. And definitely this is the era where the malnutrition is gone behind, and now the overweight and obesity is our leading concern nowadays in our office practices. Definitely BP center chart should be there. We should have a Tanner's chart, different for the male and female, and we should able to do their assessment. Snellen's chart, if there is a problem, and definitely the adult size and different chart immunization for the adolescents. not the same chart which are supposed to use. If you are looking at data, why the adolescents are now approaching to the clinic and they are dealing with the adolescents are facing is with the privacy concern. And that is the more indicator that confidentiality is there. That's the we should have a separate clinic, feel comfortable, so sit comfortably and discuss all their problem with us and the physician. We all know about the art and science of the medicine behind the adolescents. Now we talk a little bit about the commerce of the medicine. That is a return on investment. And that is a major concern we all have. We in the beginning, we all are having in mind, okay, what will be our return when we are investing so much for dealing with the adolescents. So my dear friends, this is again a good news for you. You will have a good return of investment. Because if you are opening an adolescent clinic and mega cities, it will take around 10, 15 to 20,000 per month to rent that clinic, and for the decorative and for having all the equipment, it take another 10 to 15 lakh. But if you come across the adolescents and if you are taking a consultation of at least 5 to 10 adolescents per day, routine consultation fees varies from 500 to 1,000 rupees. So, and plus their vaccination, their admission, and definitely other investigation. If you are going to calculate all these things, definitely you will not be at loss. And last but not the least, the peace of mind, the happiness that you will have. You have guided some a child for the better future. You have prevented some suicidal attempt. You have helped a family, and the happiness, smile, and the satisfaction that boy or that girl is throwing at you, that is more important and more divine. With that, I would like to conclude. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Reena Rathi ma'am. Now I would like to introduce our third speaker for today, Dr. Chandrakant Survase sir. He's a director and chair of Chiranjeev Hospital, Nashik, and he's a developmental pediatrician at District Hospital, Nashik, and he's done his MD Pediatrics from SRJR Medical College, Ambajogai. Sir will be talking about how to set up an adolescent friendly health clinic in the government setup.
हॅलो मॅम, सरांचं पीपीटी शेअर करा ना. परफेक्ट, झालं. सर प्लीज गो अहेड.
ओके, आवाज येतोय माझा?
येस सर, येस.
To start with, I will be very thankful to MahaIP, and the brain behind this program is Dr. Atul Kanekar for giving this opportunity to share my views. Because adolescent age group is the largest age group in the world population. Almost 21% of the India's population is the adolescent population. So, Government of India adolescence is critical phase in the lifespan, which is characterized by tremendous change in physical and the psychological development. They need the opportunity to develop the capabilities required for leading prosperous and healthy life. Adolescence is the ideal phase to build healthy behavior. Adolescents are exposed to several preventable and treatable health issues. Also, adolescent health and the well-being is the key driver of a wide range of sustainable developmental goals on health, nutrition, education, and gender equality and food security. As largest set of beneficiaries, adolescents are the important stakeholders and protagonists in the process of sustainable development.
सर तुमचा आवाज नाही येत आहे. सुरवसे सर, यू आर नॉट ऑडिबल. Survase sir.
मॅडम सर म्यूट वर आहेत.
ओके,
हॅलो.
मी कॉल करते त्यांना लगेच.
हो.
मॅम काही क्वेश्चन आन्सर असतील तर करून टाका ना आधी.
Yes, sir. There is a question from Dr. Atul Kanikar, sir, to Reena Rathi, ma'am. What type of displays would you prefer to put in your adolescent clinic? Reena Rathi, ma'am, आहेत का?
हा, म्हणजे त्या असाव्या असं मला वाटतंय बरेच वर्ष, पण त्या असतील बहुतेक. रीना मॅडम, आर यू देअर? रीना मॅडम.
I will call Reena sir.
अरे कुठे गेल्या?
रीना मॅम आहेत इथे. स्वाती मॅम पण आहेत. स्वाती घाटे मॅम पण आहेत.
मग स्वाती घाटे मॅडमना विचारतो मी.
हो.
स्वाती मॅडम, आर यू देअर?
Yes, sir, very much.
हा, तर मला माझ्या 2 प्रश्नांची उत्तरं द्या.
हा सर.
की what instructions would you give to your staff in the clinic when you are conducting a adolescent clinic?
Okay. So when we are like conducting, like entertaining adolescents, we have first of all to tell our support staff that adolescents are not children. They are a different stuff, and we need to look at them with dignity. They need to be looked at as if they are adults. They want that sort of a thing. We should not be judgmental. We should not pass comments. We should not
Gossip.
We should not gossip about them, and we should also not treat them in a childlike manner. Our sisters and all, they are very fond of like playing with children and all.
Skepticism.
Yes, and we should also not, if a adolescent is coming with her boyfriend, then we should also not like assume that there is something
Prejudiced.
Prejudiced. So all the things that we have to imbibe in ourselves, we have to train our staff also accordingly, so that it becomes a very adolescent friendly approach and adolescent friendly place.
And what type of displays would you like to put in your clinic?
Yes.
Because you
Reena
only
came
said
back.
the parents are very poking. You only said that the parents are poking. So to just chill the parents, what type of display would you put?
So we generally we should display the things that are very pertinent to the adolescents.
Would you like to put the immunization chart?
Yes, immunization. That there is some, like even a poster that are
which has been neglected by most of the parents during the child's teenage.
Right.
So this is the right opportunity to trigger the parents to complete their immunization schedule.
Yes, even a picture wherein an adolescent is being injected is good enough to arouse their curiosity and questions.
Signs of mental stress. You know, we have those 10 signs.
Then healthy eating, the healthy media usage. Then
something about parenting.
Yes, all these
that
things.
would keep the parents busy when you talk to the child. You know.
Yes, even we can reading material is also like very good option to be kept at the.
Do you recommend all this?
Yes, and how to talk to teens so that they listen and all these books. Sir, तुमचं पण पुस्तक आहे. And they really enjoy. Like next time when they come, say they ask, "Te pustak dya, madam."
So such types of displays should be there. Because parents are anxious state मध्ये असतात when the child is with us. And we need to keep them busy in a very fruitful way, which will help the child ultimately. असं मला वाटतं. So, Survase sir, are you back?
What services we are
Yes,
providing?
yes, sir.
A chart lau shakto, so that if they have any other issues, they can come up with that.
So 10 warning signals, you can come to us.
Yes.
Okay. So, Survase sir, have you joined?
Kanikar. Yeah, I have joined, but am I audible to you? Hello.
Sir, you are audible. Yeah, sir, you
Yes,
are
sir, you are audible.
Please go ahead.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Perfect.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank Maha IIP and organizers, and particularly Dr. Atul, for giving me this opportunity to express my views regarding this adolescent health program in government setup. To start with, I will highlight some points about adolescents, because all of you know that India is the home for largest population of adolescents. Approximately 21% of the India's population is the adolescent population, and almost 72% of this adolescent population is residing in this rural parts of the country. Next slide, please. Adolescence is the ideal phase to build healthy behavior. Adolescents are predisposed to several preventable and treatable health issues. Also, adolescent health and well-being is the key driver of a wide range of sustainable developmental goals of health, nutrition, education, and gender equality and food security. As the largest set of beneficiaries, next slide, please. As the largest set of beneficiaries, adolescents are the important stakeholders and protagonists in the process of sustainable development. Investments in adolescents will have positive impact on nation's health goals and will enhance economic productivity, effective social functioning, and overall population development. Next slide, please. In order to respond to the health and development needs of adolescents in a holistic manner, Ministry of Health and Welfare, under the National Health Mission Program, launched Rashtriya Kishor Swasthya Karyakram on 7th January of 2014, which included 6 strategic priorities: sexual and reproductive health, nutrition, non-communicable diseases, substance misuse, injury and violence, including the gender-based violence, and mental health. In view of Hello?
Yes, sir. आहे तुमचा आवाज. येतोय. Please go ahead.
So slide number 6 is there.
अच्छा, slide.
Okay. Slide has to be.
सर तुम्ही सांगा, म्हणजे मग पल्लवी मॅडम हे करतील. जेव्हा स्लाइड चेंज करायची तुम्ही सांगा.
पुढची स्लाइड घेऊ का सर याच्या?
6 number. Slide number 6.
मॅडम चेंज करा. सर सांगतील तुम्हाला.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead. In view of the renewed focus on the adolescent health at the global and the national level, and capitalize on the momentum set by RKSK, Government of India has expanded the program to incorporate school health component, define mechanisms for inter and the intra-departmental convergence, and guidelines on the engaging non-governmental organizations, NGOs in the community-based interventions. The vision of this mission or the program, RKSK, is all adolescents of India are able to realize their full potential by making informed and responsible decisions related to their health and well-being. And the broad objectives of this program are to increase the availability and access to information about the adolescent health, to increase accessibility and utilization of quality and adolescent counseling and health services, to form multi-sectoral and intra-departmental partnerships to create safe and supportive environment for adolescents, and to institute special strategies to target adolescents reside in geographic pockets which make them vulnerable to health and nutrition risks, such as tribal, migrant, and out-of-school adolescents. Because government of India has focused mainly on tribal or the rural population of this country. Next slide. Next slide, please. Specific objectives of the program are to improve nutrition in the, to reduce the prevalence of malnutrition and iron deficiency anemia, which is very much common in this age group, to improve the knowledge, attitude, and behavior in relation to the sexual and reproductive health, including the menstrual hygiene, reduce teenage pregnancy, improve birth preparedness and complication readiness, provide early parenting support for adolescent parents, and to improve knowledge and skills on mental health issues of adolescents among the healthcare providers also. Promote favorable behavior and attitudes for preventing injuries and violence, including the gender-based violence among adolescents. Increase awareness of the adverse effects and consequences of substance misuse. To promote behavior change in adolescents to prevent non-communicable diseases like hypertension, stroke, cardiovascular diseases, and diabetes. Next slide, please. All adolescents in this age group of 10 to 19 years are included in this program, both males and females, urban, rural, school and out of school, married, unmarried adolescents. The special focus is on adolescents of the vulnerable and marginalized population groups of the country, including urban slums, tribal areas, migrants, child labor, adolescents with physical and mental disability, orphans, street children, and juvenile homes. Next time. Next is the main approach is a paradigm shift from clinical to preventive and promotive aspects of adolescent health, with more emphasis on clinical-based curative approaches to focus on community and school-based adolescent care in holistic manner. There are three approaches for intervention. That is, first is the facility-based approach. Today's topic is mainly concerned with this facility-based approach, that is the adolescent-friendly health clinic, which provides counseling and clinical services to the adolescent age group, and adolescent health resource center. Second approach is the school-based approach, where there is a strengthening of the school activities and screening of the adolescents through Rashtriya Bal Swasthya Karyakram medical officers under 4D and weekly iron folic acid supplementation, deworming biannually, provision of sanitary napkins, peer education interventions. Next slide, please. And the third approach is mainly community-based approach. It includes the weekly iron folic acid supplementation, deworming during National Deworming Days, provision of sanitary napkins, peer educator interventions called Sathiyas for out-of-school and vulnerable adolescent groups particularly, and quarterly adolescent health day celebrations in collaboration with other NGOs and community health officers, workers, etc., and adolescent-friendly clubs. Next slide, please. Several studies have shown that adolescents fail to access health services because of 5 key factors, mainly lack of knowledge about the availability of services and means of access. Particularly, most of the adolescents, even parents, and I think all of us also don't know where the facilities are available for the adolescent population in government checkup. And second one is the social and the cultural deterrence, pursued lack of privacy and confidentiality. Services are difficult to access, that is, that services are too far away from their home or they are too expensive if we are talking particularly in private setup. And the last most important is that staff appears to be unfriendly with them in the available government facilities. Next slide, please. In 2006, under the reproductive and child health program, facility-based approach was initiated in the form of ARSH, Adolescent Reproductive Sexual Health, to provide clinical and counseling services to adolescents through the existing health system with a slight physical method like training of staff, introduction of the counselors, provision of commodities. Existing facilities would be equipped to provide adolescent-friendly health services. Next slide. The key friendly components of this adolescent-friendly health clinic, as already discussed by Dr. Reena, the key factors are that equitable, all services are provided to all adolescents who need them. The accessible, that the ready accessibility to the clinic by adolescent, that adolescent-friendly health clinics should be established where the adolescent can go without any hesitation. Health providers meet the expectations of adolescents who use the services. The required care is provided and any unnecessary and harmful practices are avoided. The services provided should be effective, that they should produce a healthcare positive change in the status of the adolescent. Services are effective and have high quality. The right health services are provided in the right way and make a positive contribution to the health. And lastly, the last component of this friendly health clinic is the comprehensive care. Provision covers promotive, preventive, and the curative aspects. Next slide, please. The infrastructure of this clinic should be characterized by two main key factors. First is the warm and inviting space. The physical appearance of adolescent-friendly health clinic is important for creating an environment where the adolescents feel comfortable. And the second part, key factor, is the privacy. Globally, studies have shown that the two expectations that adolescents have from the services are they want to be treated with respect, confidentiality is protected. In this context, care should be taken to ensure that the adolescent-friendly health clinic is separate from the general OPD. Efforts should be made to maintain privacy and confidentiality to ensure that adolescents are comfortable attending the clinic. There should be a separate room for adolescent-friendly health clinic, and if not available, the available room can be subdivided to create space and room. The physical appearance of the clinic is important for creating an environment where adolescents feel comfortable. Routine health setup might not attract adolescents, but a simple makeover like wall painting, colorful furniture, bright posters, LED or the LCD screens with appropriate health messages, etc., can all transform the facility, can attract adolescents. Basic amenities like sitting arrangement, clean drinking water, and clean toilet should be made available for the adolescents visiting the clinic. And these all facilities are already services are given in our district hospital, civil Nasik also. Next slide, please. Full time. Next slide. Next slide. Full time placement of one adolescent friendly health clinic trained medical officer and the auxiliary nurse midwife or the lady health visitor should be ensured by the facility in charge. It is advisable that 2 medical officers are trained for the facility with the preferable inclusion of a female medical officer. A dedicated adolescent health counselor is to be placed at the adolescent-friendly clinic for counseling services. The role of the adolescent health counselor is divided into 2 parts: counseling at the center, and second one is the block level program manager or management support with main focus on counseling at the block and the CS community health center level adolescent friendly health clinic. The counselor will also work as the block level coordinator or the manager for RKS. Next slide, please. This is the structure designed by the government of India, how the working of the adolescent friendly health clinics is going on. This base at the base of this triangle, there is the adolescent friendly health services at the community level, and top is the district level. And this district level adolescent health clinic is labeled or designated as Adolescent Health Resource Center. This center, apart from providing the full complement of services envisioned for adolescent-friendly health clinic, will also act as a resource center for capacity building of healthcare providers and repository for information, education, and communication materials on adolescent health, such as the posters, banners, pamphlets, audio, video materials. Counselors play a crucial role in the operationalization of adolescent-friendly health clinics. They inform, educate, counsel clients on adolescent health issues, and refer clients to health facilities or other service delivery points such as the Integrated Counseling Testing Center, De-Addiction Center, Non-Communicable Disease Clinics, etc. Besides these, outreach services by counselors are carried out at schools, colleges, youth clubs, and in community at least twice a week to sensitize the adolescent caregivers, parents, influencers on various adolescent health issues and appraise them of various available adolescent-friendly health services at the government facilities. Adolescent-friendly health clinics will have strong linkage with peer education program, Adolescent Health Day, and Adolescent-friendly health club. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Main key task of the adolescent-friendly health clinic is to understand the social, cultural, and economic factors that determine the adolescent health and well-being, to create an adolescent-friendly environment, inform, educate, and counsel clients on issues such as the mental health issues, depression, low self-esteem, anxiety or puberty, anemia, nutrition, symptoms of reproductive tract infections, early and unwanted pregnancy, menstrual problems, injury and violence like sexual assault, rape, domestic violence, etc. If required, the clients are referred to tertiary level facilities and or other services such as the ICTC and de-addiction centers, etc. Next slide, please. There is a next slide. Next slide. No, previous one. There is a clear protocol on how and by whom the client will be reviewed. Ideally, clients should be received by counselors and, if required, followed by a trained medical officer for consultation. Only those adolescents who require counseling and clinical services on specific adolescent health issues should be referred to the health clinics. Adolescents requiring clinical services for general ailments like cold, fever, etc., should be treated at the general OPD only. All the adolescents visiting the adolescent-friendly health clinic must be registered and record must be maintained as per the Government of India's guidelines in the client registration register. A registration procedure for the client should be simple, quick, and follow privacy. Adolescent-friendly health clinic card with the registration number is maintained for every adolescent clinic. Initial findings are filled by counselor and treatment details are completed by a medical officer and prescription is kept by adolescent visiting that clinic. A counselor's role is critical for identifying and addressing the needs of the adolescent so that the provision of support, the building of self-esteem, and the resilience to setbacks are ensured. Counselors at adolescent-friendly health clinic will also work with counselors placed at other clinics in the same district. She or he also involves in case discussions and management with others. All efforts are to maintain privacy and confidentiality to ensure that adolescents are comfortable in attending clinics. All adolescents must be treated with dignity and respect. Place of the physical examination must have screens. Examination of adolescent girl must be carried out in presence of ANM, lady health visitors. All the doors and windows of the clinic must have curtains. Adolescent-friendly health clinic will run on daily basis. Ensure that the timing suit the needs of the local adolescents, especially by prior appointment. Timing must be suitable for other activities envisaged at adolescent-friendly health clinic. The services. Next slide. Services offered at these clinics are particularly the information corner, which deals with the IEC material, information like banners, posters, short films, and audio clips for awareness purposes. Commodities are kept in the clinic like iron folic acid, albendazole tablet, sanitary napkins, contraceptive pills, other medicines like paracetamol, antispasmodics, and in first aid, pregnancy testing kit, body mass index charts, uh, counseling on nutrition, puberty-related concerns, marital counseling, sexual problems, contraceptive abortions, RTI and STI, substance misuse, learning problems are all services are offered in these clinics. Next slide, please. Next. The IEC material, information, education, and communication material under 6 identified key priorities, that is the nutrition, sexual reproductive health, non-communicable diseases, substance misuse, injuries, and violence, and mental health, as well as on COVID-19, should be strategically displayed in all adolescent-friendly health clinics. The take-away reading materials in the form of pocket books, pamphlets should be given to the clients, and the clinics services should be widely publicized through media and mass media so that the beneficiaries and other stakeholders are aware of the available facilities at the government setup. Short films and audio clips for awareness purposes should be regularly telecast on radio or television, like in jingle form or any small documentary films, etc. Next slide. Record keeping, as Swati ma'am said, it is very important, record keeping legally also. As per the guidelines of Government of India, there are 4 types of registers to be maintained at the all adolescent friendly health clinics. First is the client registration register, service provision register, that deals with the which services have provided to that particular adolescent, and stock and outreach sessions register. It is mandatory for all states and union territories to report accurate, timely, and comparable data to Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, monitoring and supportive supervision of the existing programs and scale up. Next slide. Data is submitted accurately and timely on specific days. From block level adolescent friendly health clinics to send monthly consolidated reports to the district by the 5th of following month. And district level consolidated data is to be submitted to the state and union territory by 10th of the following month, and all states and union territories to submit consolidated quarterly report to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare by 20th of the following respective quarter. Next slide, please. Next slide. A district should monitor, that is the Adolescent Resource Center, monitors and report these indicators regularly to understand the proper functioning of this adolescent friendly health clinics. The percentage and number of the clinics operationalized against the plan, client load of the adolescent friendly health clinic in that particular area, percentage and number of adolescent health counselors recruited, and their training, whether their training is completed, repeated training is there, percentage and number of the trained counselors in place against plan. All these indicators to be maintained and informed to the district, that is the adolescent friendly resource center, and that ultimately reports to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. Next slide, please. Outreach activities, as I have said previously, this is mainly based at the community level. Counselors at the adolescent friendly health clinics should prepare a tour plan for visiting schools, colleges, youth clubs, major events with prior consultation with the principals, teachers, and parents to sensitize adolescents and stakeholders through Adolescent Health Day, twice a week meetings, etc. Outreach sessions are clubbed with those by the community health officer or coincide with the school health assembly under the Ayushman Bharat school health welfare program. Mapping of the outreach sessions for pockets of out of school by counselors in the consultation with facility in charge is done. For creating social environment for promoting adolescent health, camps are organized. Outreach sessions are arranged to coincide with the special health days as per the annual calendar of the health department. During outreach sessions, the counselors try to promote various types of wellness activities for the adolescents with the help of local community health officers, ASHA workers, ANM, Panchayat Raj institution members. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next. Convergence. First one. It is important strategic point of this adolescent-friendly health clinic, and as a part of RKSK, this adolescent health strategy envisages all the intra-departmental activities with existing programs of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare and relevant inter-ministerial convergence. Strategic partnership with other allied ministries, departments, as well as key stakeholders will strengthen existing linkages and to create new opportunities for the partnership, and mainly to prevent the duplication of the program. Next slide. Next slide. Next. This is the diagram showing the linkages in between or interdepartmental and local convergence with Ayushman Bharat and school health wellness centers, etc. Next slide. In conclusion, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare under the National Health Mission launched a comprehensive program for adolescents, Rashtriya Kishor Swasthya Karyakram, on 7th January 2014. Under RKSK, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare launched adolescent-friendly health clinics across the country with the aim to provide clinical and counseling services to adolescents through the existing health system with a slight physical makeover. And the 6 strategic priorities are involved: sexual and reproductive health, nutrition, non-communicable diseases, substance misuse, injuries, and violence, including the gender-based violence, mental health. All clinics need to be staffed by healthcare providers who are purposefully trained for the adolescent health concerns. Friendly component of the adolescent-friendly health clinics are equitable, accessible, acceptable, appropriate, effective, comprehensive, and to ensure the timing which is suitable for the needs of the local adolescents. Next. Hello. Next. One slide. Thank you. Thank you. And sorry for the in between disturbances.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for such a detailed, informative talk. So as there are no more questions in the chat box, we'll conclude the session. On behalf of Maharashtra State IIP, I would like to thank all the today's speakers, Dr. Swati Ghate Madam, Dr. Chandrakant Survase sir, Dr. Reena Rathi Madam, for their enlightening talks. I would like to thank Dr. Nilesh Ahire sir for being MMC observer here for today's session. I would like to thank Dr. Atul Ganikar sir, who is a chief coordinator for the PATH program, for fantastically arranging the talks and speakers. I would like to thank Dr. Ramakant Patil sir, President Maha IIP, and Dr. Amol Pawar sir, Secretary Maha IIP, for their wholehearted support for the program. I thank Dr. Amok Shahane, who is my co-moderator today. And I would also like to thank Pallavi Madam for her fantastic technical support and in-time technical support. And lastly, thanks all the delegates for your patient listening. I know there were many technical glitches, but these were unavoidable due to rains. Ultimately, nature is supreme. So thanks for your patience. Thank you so much. So with this, we will conclude today's session.